Welcome students, welcome to my next video. Standard 6 History, topic number 2, Sources of History. In the first part we have already seen that the history is a study of the past, and the person who writes history are called historians. And then we also saw there are various sources of history: material sources, written sources, and oral sources. In the first part of our video, we saw the material sources, the various artifacts which are available to us to know more about history, like coins, inscriptions, seals. Now, my dear students, in the second part of my video, we saw written sources. The written sources, those things which are written on the potsheds, unbaked bricks, Burja Patra, and travelogues, poetries. So these sources are considered to be the written sources of history. As I given you an example before in the second part of my video, copper plates, inscriptions on rocks, Burja Patra, and this Burja Patra is made from the birch or Burja tree. And thus, when we visit the museum, we could see in our museum the written sources, the essay describing about artifacts displayed through there. Collect traditional verses such as Ovis, collect folk songs, present one of them in the cultural programs of your school. Now, let us go on to the last source. That is none other than the oral source. Ovis, folk songs, folk tales are the similar literature which is passed on from one generation to another generation by the word of mouth. This literature is not a written form. Its author is unknown. This type of literatures are preserved by oral tradition that forms as oral sources like Pavadas, Bhakars. We say all these come under the oral sources. Let me give you something which is happening in Rajasthan. In Rajasthan, the older generation, they give information about Mirabai, Sant Mirabai, to the young generation orally. So, this is the third source which is called as oral source. Now, my dear students, as we all know, the sources of the ancient history extends from Stone Age of 8th century CE. We learn about Stone Age period of Indian history through archaeological excavations. Since scripts have not developed at that time, no written sources were available. However, the information about ancient period from 1500 BCE onwards can be derived from the Vedic literature. In the beginning, Vedas were not in the written form. The Vedas later on, first it was memorized and recited. Later on, it was in the form of a written form. The Vedic literatures form an important source of ancient Indian history. It includes Brahmanas, Upanishads, Ramayana, Mahabharata, Jain, Buddhist literature, play important plays, poems, stones, pillar inscriptions, travelogues of the foreign travelers, all come under the ancient Indian history. Now, my dear students, how did we find these ancient Indian sources? These ancient sources, we find it through the archaeological excavations, the archaeological remains of ancient monuments, the coins found in excavations. Now, anything what we get is not historical. There are many methods used to find out whether the coin or a pot has some historical background. For that, we need to take some precautions while writing history. It is necessary to take precautions while using these sources to write history. A written document cannot be said to be authentic just because it is old. It needs to be examined critically and has to who wrote it. Conclusion drawn on the basis of various documents have been cross-checked, corroborated with one another. Such critical analysis is very important in writing history. Students, thus I come to the end of my third part of my video. If you like the video, please do like it. If you are not subscribed it, subscribe it. And also share the link with others, those who are not aware of this channel. Thank you. God bless you. Have a nice day.